This is a very interesting story by you. You say that in the very beginning of this piece that you write, and again, I got a sneak preview of this. It's been a good day for me. I got a lot of good sneak previews. You talk about how some of the people who are little people who are actors, they write strict clauses in their contracts, such as the word midget may not be used in a production. Is that right?
Well, not exactly. I mean, I've only talked to one actor, Danny Woodburn, who is the character actor who's best known for, playing Kramer's buddy Mickey on Seinfeld. He's in the upcoming movie Mirror, Mirror, and he just said that was his experience. He's been demeaned so much in roles that he's had to audition for his whole career. He's had to bite people, or people have asked him to do these things, that he actually does start putting stuff in his contracts that says, I won't bite anyone. Nobody's going to pick me up. So I don't know if that's true in general, but that's certainly what his experience is.
Tell us about some of the new productions that are out, or some of the ones that have been around, in the last year or so, that are really giving a resurgence to the careers of some of these actors.
Well, little people in Hollywood have been frustrated for a long period of time because the only roles that they seem to get that traditionally are the Seven Dwarfs or the Oompa Loompas or the Munchkins, and even worse, commercials where they have to play elves, with pink hair, or just dancing around and kind of not acting like they do in real life. But more recently, there's been this phenomenon that Peter Dinklage has been playing these great roles in HBO's Game of Thrones, also The Station Agent, and you have these reality shows like Little People, Big World, in which actors who are little people actually get to play people and not, stereotypes based on their size or their background. Now, so we're seeing a little bit more of this lately, which is a good sign.
So in Mirror, Mirror, now is this the movie? This is the film sort of based on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This is the one starring Julia Roberts. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So in terms of how the character roles have evolved for the actors who are little people that will be in this film, what have they done that have sort of, bolstered those roles to make them feel more powerful, more real, more important to those actors?
Well, Danny, who appears in the film, as well as Mark Pavanelli, who's another one of the Seven Dwarfs in the movie, they actually, first of all, the film actually hires little people as actors playing the dwarves, as opposed to shrinking down people of regular size for those roles. And secondly, the actors as well as the producers who I spoke with for the story said that they really went out of their way to give a sort of depth and backstory to the characters of the Seven Dwarfs. There's Snow White in the movie is kind of an outcast. She's exiled from the kingdom by the queen, who hates her, and she immediately makes a connection from the dwarves, who, because of their lifestyles and their size, are sort of outlaws and thieves anyway. And so there's a connection there, and the directors and the producers and the actors kind of explored that with a lot more depth than perhaps you've seen in other variations of this story in the past.
And you mentioned something about people who are not little people, sort of regular size actors, playing the roles of little people. How does that work from a technology standpoint, Steve?
Well, there's movie magic. I can't explain to you exactly what buttons you push on the computer to do that in Hollywood, but there's another movie that's coming out, and I haven't seen it, Snow White and the Huntsman, that comes out later in the summer. And what they did was they took these great character actors, Ray Winstone and Ian McShane and people like that, and obviously not little people, and they kind of retrofitted them to make them look like dwarves in the movie. And so you'll have to be the judge when you see the movie of whether that was the right creative decision. But I have talked to actors who are little people who are critical of that. They don't think it's fair that if you have a role that actually calls for someone to be a dwarf, an iconic character is what I mean to say, that you use movie magic to shrink regular size actors, so there's fewer opportunities for little people in Hollywood. And
something that interesting happened during the filming of the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I mean, I think, am I thinking of this right, they had one actor and they sort of digitally multiplied that one actor who was a little person?
Right, you're talking about the recent remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right, with Johnny Depp, that was directed by Tim Burton, and they did have one actor, and they kind of had him reproduced using effects frequently, so he could seem like he was a lot of Oompa Loompas being played at one time.